friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Anita Fun, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every week I upload new tutorials to my channel. If you're a old member, you're welcome back. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to sew a corset step by step. In my other tutorial, I didn't show you on how to draft a corset pattern. Today we're going to be sewing it, so if you want to know how I do this, keep on watching. So these are all the pieces I'm going to be needing to make this corset. I have them in number, and I also added ½ inch for my allowance. I have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 1, and number 2 here, number 3. All right. And the next thing I did was to create my boning casing. But if you want, you can just buy a remade boning. Okay, boning casing. Sorry, I just like measure 1 inch wide by the length of my top and how many boning I want to add to it. I cut all the boning casing at that number. All right. First thing I did was to iron interfacing to my piece because I'm not going to be, I don't have a bra cup. So I'll be taking number 1 and number 2. I'll pin them up together, and I also, if you can notice that I also put a notch where I'll be pinning them together to know where exactly I'm going to be pinning, because sometimes if you make a mistake and you pin them wrongly, instead of giving you the cup you need, it will become flat, which is not really good at time. I'll as well do the same thing with this other piece. Match the center up together, and my design should be facing upward. I'll go ahead to pin it up. After pinning it up, I'll take it to the machine and stitch ½ inch away. All right. Now, when I'm done stitching them up, next thing I'm going to do, I want to lay this flat, and I'm going to go ahead and pin my piece. I will lay the center with the center that I notch. I'm going to pin it up, and when you're pinning it, you make sure everything is smooth, nothing should be twisted. All right. After pinning it, I'll take it to the machine and stitch ½ inch away from here. And I'll as well do the same thing with the other piece. When we are done stitching, this is what we should have, a cup like this, okay, that your breast will be able to fit inside. And the next thing I want to do is that I'm going to go ahead to pin this up in numbers, according to numbers. So I'll be taking number 1 and number 2, I'll pin them up. After that, I'll move to number 2 to number 3, pin it up, and number 3 to number 4, I'll pin them up. When I'm done pinning it up, I'll make sure I check if all my designs are facing upward, okay? It shouldn't be upside down. When I'm sure everything is good, I'll go ahead to stitch ½ inch away because I added just ½ inch. And when I'm done stitching it, I went ahead to press it up to lay it flat, as you can see here at the seams. And the next thing we want to do is I'm going to draw where I want my boning casing to be on top. So as you can see, these lines I have here, that is where I'm going to be sewing my boning casing exactly. You can create as much as you want. All right, they are all together 9, so this is what I'm doing. I'll just simply place them up like this to check and be sure if everything is good and smooth before I go ahead to stitch that up. Now the next thing I want to do is, as you can see this fold edge here, I will go ahead and just stitch about 2 millimeters away from the line, and when I'm done, like place it like this and stitch 2 millimeters, and when I'm done, next thing I want to do is to flip this like this, and I'm a top stitch on top. All right. So far I've stitched the other boning casing, but I'm going to show you on how to make this last one so you know as well on how to do this. Like I mentioned before, I would stitch 2 mm away from that line, and when I'm done I will flip it over and stitch on it again to secure the stitch. All right. If you check, I'm not sewing exactly on the line. You shouldn't sew exactly on the line. When I'm done, I flip it over to stitch right and restitch it again the second time. Okay, when we are done stitching all the boning cases, we want to attach the cup to the uh, top. You'll make sure that you pin the number 1 of the center front facing the center front. So when I'm pinning my cup to my top, I'm going to make sure I pin everything smoothly. Nothing should be twisted along the way, okay? Because if it is twisted and you go ahead to sew it, you will notice that your cup, the under will be twisted, which is not really presentable. So please go ahead, pin it carefully. And if your cup is big between this space we are supposed to pin, you should know that there's something wrong with it. Nothing should be big. The cup should be able to fit on that U shape that we have, that we are pinning it there. Okay, so take your time and pin it. Pin as many pin, put as many pin as you can. And if you have a bra cup, go ahead to use a bra cup for this, and it's really going to help you to lift up your breast, especially most of us that has small breasts. What I want to mention is when you're stitching, you make sure this stitch here is facing upward, okay? You can choose if you want it to face downward. You make sure all the stitches are facing downward. Take your time and stitch this, and make sure when you're stitching, nothing should be twisted on the way. Everything should just go ahead smoothly. When I'm done joining the cup to the top, as you can see, next thing I'm going to do, I want to hem it like this. I'll also do the same thing. Now, I've already went ahead to cut my boning casing. I just measure whatever I had from there, and I cut my boning 1 inch shorter because we're going to be needing ½ inch to join the top at the top and ½ inch to join it at the bottom. Make sure you burn your boning to smooth it so that it will not be rough in. All right, continue doing the same thing to get to all the boning casing. So when I'm done putting all the boning, the next thing I want to do is to measure my cup, whatever I have. I'm going to divide it by 2, which is 7 inch. 7 divided by 2 is 3 inch. I'll just take my straps and place it right on top of that line. For my strap, what I did was to measure my bra straps, okay? I cut it at that measurement. When I'm done pinning the straps to it, I'll just take my lining, placing the right side facing each other. I'll go ahead to pin it up, except the 2 sides of the top. Okay, I will take it to the machine and stitch it ½ inch away and ½ inch away while leaving these 2 sides open, because I'm going to be adding a loop for the at the back. So now just send my hand inside. I'm going to turn it, carefully turn it around because the boning are already installed. When you are done turning it, you should go ahead, remove everything outside and give it a good press up, all right, for that cup to really come out, for all the shape of the top to come out. Okay, so you can see the way I'm removing everything out. I'll go ahead to press that up to lay everything up. And now I'm going to just fold ½ inch inward. I will press it up. We're not going to be stitching it for now. After pressing it up, as you can see, it's flat. I'll go ahead and add my loops to it. That's, you're going to measure 1 inch between the loops, okay? 1 inch away. I'll be adding around 8 of them. And for my straps for the back, what I did was to cut my strap of 80-inch long. ½ inch inward and ½ inch inward. Therefore, you cut one piece of 80-inch long by 1 inch wide. Then you fold ½ inch inward, ½ inch inward. Then you iron it and you stitch over it. I'll take it to the machine and stitch like this, and I'm gonna stitch here. And so you can see for the strap for the back, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to measure whatever I have from here to here, and I'm going to divide that by 2 as well, which is 9 divided by 2 will give me 4.5, and I'll open it up to put my straps for at that back piece. When I'm done, that's open it, I'll just go ahead and put my straps. I'll take it to the machine and stitch it up, and we are done with this top. You're just going to put your straps inside like this. I will take it to the machine and stitch, and we are done. When you are done stitching, you should go ahead and press everything up to lay it flat. As you can see, here is what the top look like on me. I really love it. I hope you guys do. But I cannot breathe though. I love eating a lot, so this boning in it is like, okay, my body, I cannot breathe. But this is what corset is all about. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next project.